Alright, hello everybody and welcome back. Back from a short break in the streams, but here we bring you another match. Tonight's match is going to be Seed 18, Liam High Hyundai Tao against Seed 31, the Untrillables, in this conditional match for the losers bracket of the round of 16. My name is Dynascape, and I'm joined in the commentary booth by Sparky. How are we doing, Sparky?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic, Dinah. Always a pleasure to commentate with you, and especially since we're already in the back half of this round of 16 weekend, as you were mentioning, a very exciting matchup between two really good teams fighting for their tournament lives here. We've got Ming 1402, Sovi 03, and Tus for Liam High Hyundai Tao going up against Plausch and Lamp, the dynamic duo for the Untrillables. It'll be very interesting to see how these two teams go.
And it's quite an interesting matchup too, because if you guys haven't been really watching or studying the teams, the Untrillables are quite the physical team. So I expect them to be doing a lot of stuff like Rise 1, Rise 2, Rise 5, whereas Liam High Hyundai Tao is quite evenly spread throughout, and I think that they'll find their points more in that LN and hybrid sections.
Yeah, so we might have a bit of a dichotomy here, and I don't know about this warm-up, Chief. This is this is pretty hard.
Yeah, it's certainly a warm-up. I hope that they don't forget to turn no-fill on, as we've seen time and time again throughout this tournament. You know, it slips by someone and they just, decide not to try and then fail out, and then it just like ruins Bancho or something like that. Hopefully
We have had a surprising amount of team fails in the warm-up so far this weekend. If I had a nickel for every time we have had a team fail in the warm-ups this weekend alone, I'd have a considerable amount of nickels. It'd be a non-zero amount, and that is higher than I think we should have.
Yeah, I think I'd have enough to buy a gumball or something.
At least a
at that
gumball.
point.
I think we've determined that one gumball is like a fraction of a penny, so you can have so many gumballs with a nickel. So
Be a lot of gumballs. For their other matches before this one in this weekend, Liam High Hyundai Tao won by default against NecoCast. Very unfortunate. I think that was in the very large string of win by defaults that we had, like 5 in a row. Really unlucky streak. Whereas the Untrillables got a pretty quick and easy 5-0 against the Fresh Chicken Nuggets earlier.
yeah, so Liam High Hyundai Tao is going to be interesting saying that for the next 30 or so minutes. Gonna basically not have any scores to give away to the Untrillables. Meanwhile, they could have been studying the Untrillables scores from their earlier match, but I'm really glad that nobody is doing good on this map. I feel like we could have instantly banned a team if we saw anything higher than 90% on this.
Yeah, I was kind of squinting a little bit at the start, like, what's going on here? But I'm glad that they fell from from the graces of the 90s.
I mean, to be fair, 87% on Sport V2 on Gamma Speed is still pretty alright. I mean, I would have given up like 15 minutes ago. I wouldn't have even started this.
I mean, I wouldn't have played this either, save for like jump chilling for maybe the first minute for the funny. But I mean, regardless, like you said, Yumhai Hyundai Tao, there is no prior information um, on them for the maps in this round, and usually information is everything. So the picks, the protects, and the bans are going to be very, very important for the untrillables, especially seeing as they are the lower seeded team, seed 31 versus seed 18. They have to try to clear their way through the minefield, if you will.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, to be fair, we've already had some pretty decent upsets. I think Seed 32 took down somebody in the top 15 earlier this weekend. So definitely doable. They're definitely not safe on their perch in that mid to high seed range. And we've got a pretty decent warm up, I'd say. Scarlet Tempest is pretty good speed map to warm up on. Just really get your fingers going.
Yeah, it's a pretty set in stone speed map, quite popular as well. It is loved and on rates.
Yeah.
Very, very famous map. I know a lot of players in this tournament do have scores on it. It was one of the things I was looking at during that skill binding process. So I like that we have two speed maps to go by, I guess. This one is a bit more grounded than, Reflect, but yeah, we'll get to see a little bit more on how they do for that, I guess, Rice 2 pick.
Yeah, it'd be funny if after all of this they just ban Rice 2.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Like, one of the teams is just like, yeah, you're better at speed than us. We're gonna ban it.
Or that, or they just didn't like how I patterned the chart, which, I mean, to be fair.
I mean, I think the patterning is definitely a little bit harder than most straightforward speed maps, but I think it's a good thing too because, at that 204 BPM level, it's I expect a lot of players to be comfortable with it, so we do need to up that difficulty with patterning somehow.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely can't give everybody just an easy staircase ride for 2 minutes, but I think this might give us quite a bit of information as to how comfortable these teams are overall when it comes to maybe some higher level, still in the range of doable speed charts.
Yeah, it's definitely a stone's throw away from the speed charts that we are encountering right now. However, it's like totally within the confines of the difficulty range in this tournament. So I think that these scores that are happening right now are pretty good to look at if you are considering kind of a later game or later stage in the tournament.
Yeah, and if nothing else, maybe some people might discount this because like, oh, it's only 165 BPM. How hard could it be? I mean, gotta take into consideration you've got some like 1.6, 1.8 patterning going on in here, so you effectively add another like 0.5 to that BPM range, and it quickly becomes like 230, 240 BPM streams, if I'm doing my napkin math correctly.
Yeah, napkin math telling me that 165 for 6 streams are about like 248, I think. And that is getting quite fast if we're talking about just BPM in general. That's 2 rates above what the maps are like right now.
Yeah,
Quite a step above, and I do think that the patterning in Scarlet Tempest can get quite abrasive for a lot of it as well.
yeah, for sure. It's very easy to find misreads, as you can see as we dive back into the real bulk of the map. We start to see misses all across the board, proving that, I mean, yeah, you can maybe pull off those like high 98s, low 99s, but when it comes down to it, proficiency really comes at around like that 99.56 range. So might need to maybe work on it a little bit, but they're not that far off. The fact that they're 5 digits and already pulling off scores like this, I definitely wasn't in this sort of range when I was a 5 digit.
Yeah, it's like ancient history to the both of us. Like, you
I
know,
had A's on this, I think, when before this was loved.
yeah, like it's 5 digits nowadays are just built
Cracked.
different. But regardless, that is gonna be the end of the warm-ups. Very interesting to see two speed maps chosen. We're gonna go ahead and get into the roles. And again, this is very, very important for the untrillables. Make sure they know what they're doing, make sure they've done their homework and studied.
And here we go. Klaus rolling that 48. Definitely have seen lower numbers win this weekend. Saw 26 beat a 20.
Yeah, and that was really unfortunate too because the 26 was rolled first.
Yeah,
And yeah, just like that, Mink rolls a 9. So the untrillables are gonna go ahead and get that first pick.
yeah, very powerful 9. That's one of those you roll low for intimidation. You don't want to blow them out of the water.
Yeah, it's kind of like you have to appear weak when you're strong, some like Art of War Sun Tzu kind of stuff.
That's definitely one way to put it. But it looks like the untrillables will be protecting first.
Yeah, and I further protects, I would guess either Rice 1 or Rice 5 is in their books. And as for Liam High, I think that any LN could go if they did their homework correctly. LN1 seemed to be a struggle for the untrillables. Lamp getting a 966 and Plausch getting a 958 when Miraru Mirror was chosen, so I think that could be on their hit list for this match. But Rice 6 is going to be chosen for the protect on the side of the untrillables.
Yeah, I can see that. Rice 6 has definitely been one of those popular picks so far this week, and I think a lot of players tend to want to gravitate towards those more physically demanding or just abrasive overall picks. But whether they can do it or not consistently, that remains to be the major question, because we have seen teams protect us and things just go like catastrophically wrong for them in terms of just dropping too much accuracy at key moments or finding those unfortunate breaks.
Yeah, and especially in the latter half, it does get so much more abrasive and a bit of an increase in the difficulty. Even though the first half is hard, I think the second half is like really like way harder. And you know, we've seen pretty much everyone drop a lot of AC in the back half. Liam High gonna go ahead and protect LN2, so it seems like that's what they're comfortable with. And we have seen a lot of representation, mostly in the form of bans for this map.
Yeah, Yukino Hana is a bit of a scary pick in and of itself. If nothing else, oh my god, they just banned Price too. Oh my god. They played all that speed.
Yeah.
They played all that speed. They went from Gamma Speed to Scarlet Tempest to banning Rice 2. Why would you do that to me, guys? Come on.
From Gamma Speed to, we're gonna go ahead and like play 135 Jump Stream for the first pick, probably something like that, right?
Yeah.
But wow, LN1 gonna go ahead and be banned. Kind of like what I said, they did seem to struggle on this map for the untrillables. But I think it was interesting that the untrillables opted to protect Rice 6 rather than Rice 1, because just looking at the scores for their last match in this round, Lamb actually did get quite a miss. They both had 10 200s each on this for a team average of about 970, which isn't great seeing the other scores from other teams throughout this weekend.
Yeah, when it comes down to it, if you come up against a team that can actually keep combo on it, the ratio starts to come into play. And if you find yourself dropping too many 200s, can definitely land you in a spot of bother. And it looks like it is going to be Rice 1 coming out here from the untrillables, maybe going something that they know they're comfortable on. and consistent on. That's arguably the more important thing of the two.
Exactly. Lamp and Plush getting an average of 982 on this map each, which is very, very good. We've seen some crazy scores earlier today, where I think the top score so far on this map was almost a 994.
That's not
So
bad.
yeah, not like they have quite a bit of work to do to boost themselves to that top echelon. However, 982 average from both of them as FCs are very, very respectable, and I think might be enough to take Mink and Sylvie down.
Yeah, for sure. And I like the conversation going on in the IRC chat. Everybody went Team Red. Yeah, you gotta have some blue in there, and Plausch, being the consummate professional they are, offering to move to blue team for everybody involved, as if though they're supposed to be. So
Yeah, can't have the cold Open Cup without some blue. We are playing the Crimson Empire, so I guess that explains the red, the red side.
that's fair. But it looks like not gonna have any substitutions. The Untrillables, Plausch and Lamp gonna have to play everything where they want to or not. And don't know if Autios is here for Liam Hai Hyundai Tao. But Ming 1402 Sylvie gonna be staying in to contest on Rice 1.
And I think that again, Plush and Lamp are gonna have to recreate what they did in their last match and pull off a double FC to really drill it in that they are not to be trifled with when it comes to the Rice pool. Scare off Liam Hai Hyundai Tao into choosing solely LNs and hybrids throughout this match.
Yeah, and the good thing is that there's enough of a blend for both teams to accumulate those 4 points needed to make it a match point situation. It's just whether or not any break points are going to go one way or the other. But for right now, as it stands, the overall average scores from the Untrillables, beating those on the side of Liam Hai Hyundai Tao, Sylvia and Mink in that mid to low 99%, Lamp and Plausch in the upper ends of that 99% range, giving them a bit of an advantage here going into the second third of the map here.
Yeah, those little flams proving to be a bit difficult for everyone involved, and especially on the side of Liam Hai Hyundai Tao. You're gonna see both of the players for that team at around that 99.3 level, and Lamp and Plausch do have quite a comfortable lead. I believe right now it's about like 8,000 points, so it's gonna take probably a break for things to start trying to swing over to Team Red.
Yeah, but for right now, they seem to have the consistency down for the moment. Last quarter of the map left to go. And right now, it really is just an advantage grown off of accuracy alone. That's really what you need when you start getting into these later stages of tournaments. As the map will start to get harder, you gotta make sure you can maintain the consistency. Sure, it doesn't have to be the best accuracy in the world. It just has to be higher than those on the side of your opponent. And for right now, Plausch and Lamp, both above their counterparts on the red team. 99.38, 99.21, not going to be enough to contest for the moment. And Sylvie finds the singular drop out of all 4 players in the lobby, and that might just seal the deal here for this first pick. The Untrillables running it 2 for 2 on Rice 1 here this weekend and putting up a very impressive team score.
Yeah, the Crimson Empire falls and is now stained a beautiful shade of azure as Plausch and Lamp take that first point with quite the large lead.
Yeah, basically 10,000 points over their Liam Hai Hyundai Tao counterparts. And Plow was actually surprised that they managed to pull off a 200 run there. PBing in matches, what you love to see.
Yeah, and again, last time they played, they both had 9 grades each. So them combining for 8 grades total is, that power up that you need mid-weekend, especially to take over a higher seed than you. Something you're gonna need. Liem Hai Hyundai Tao gonna go ahead and pick their protect immediately, shoot it right off, and challenge the untrillables on their noodles.
Yeah, there's something to be said about being consistent in Rice, but to be one of those tournament players that make it very far, you got to be able to contest on the LNs and hybrids. So, yeah, we have some Mink and Sylvie to really assert their authority on the lower half of the map pool here. I really like this. Definitely want to try and get that point back as early as possible. Why not do it on something that you guys might be very comfortable with? So, be interested to see how they do on this. Not a long map by any stretch of the imagination, so any singular mistake could prove to be fatal one way or the other.
And I think that for the first half of the map, really the focus is trying to minimize, I guess, your 200s at this level for the kind of flammy parts and really holding everything together to finish strong, especially for the end when you're holding three columns at once and changing the anchors. I think it's very, very chokeable for either team. So I think FCing this is you're kind of playing the combo game instead of the accuracy game by the end of this.
Yeah, for sure. And it does, I mean, to your point, you were saying keeping the 200 counts to a minimum. I feel like on a map this short and this lightly patterned, keeping the 300s to a minimum can even prove to be uh deciding factor because they really do start to add up if you aren't too in control of those LN releases. And we do see our first substitution here. Atu is coming in for Mink to contest on this LN pick.
And I like what you said about the 300s because, with score V2, we are counting your releases as well when it comes to LN. So no chop releases, hopefully as much as the players would like, and then they can keep that score as high as possible. But we already see here Sylvie getting a 200. I think everyone pretty much dropped a 200. Not very high scores to start off with, kind of shaky here, as Plausch and Atus and Sylvie are the only ones at a 99. Lamp starts it off with a 98.
Yeah, I think Lamp, like you to your point, everybody had a bit of a rough start to this map. I think Lamp worst of all. They actually found some slider breaks very early on. You wonder if that might be like the first note lag when the audio starts to sync up with the notes or something, but gonna give them a bit of a disadvantage. Sylvie does eventually trade it back now, and we're about to cross that 400 combo cap, and Lamp, his being or theirs being so early on, might actually be able to make some inroads into this lead that Liam Haifon Dai Tao have built up, especially because of the fact that Sylvie is now down in that 98% range with Lamp here.
Yeah, you see the Unchillables finally starting to cut into that uh, lead that Liam Hai had gotten in the first half, but as Sylvie gets more... Oh, but that drop's not going to help at all the Unchillables. Swing the bar to blue, and in the end of the map, both players on the right side of the screen are going to seem to FC it and take it with double sub 99 FCs.
Yeah, never underestimate these short LN maps. They can definitely take you for a bit of a ride. And I was saying those 300 counts are going to be very important. And what do we see here? Some pretty interesting ratios. I think everybody got taken for a ride there uh, on LN2.
Yeah,
And
just like I said at the start, I mean, you got to play the combo game on a map like this. There isn't, I don't think, yeah, it's 745 notes. So like, it's not even enough for two combo caps worth of notes. So it's like if you miss once, pretty much you'll only get to one combo cap throughout the rest of the map.
yeah, so very wild score swings there. And the Untrillables come out on top, take their first break point in this match. Yeah, it looks like I'm reading this correctly. Mink for the side of Liam Hai Hyundai Tao had to go. So playing a little short staffed here.
And that's quite important too, because I feel like Mink might have been the anchor for Liam Hai Hyundai Tao. So I'm not sure how well the core of Atus and Sylvie will be, especially against very physical players such as Plausch and Lamp. It seems like the advantage has grown in favor of the untrillables because of their captain weaving.
Oh, it looks like Mink is actually still here, but they're being pulled away from their computer.
Yeah, I always hate to see when you have like, um, different kind of what's the word? Duty to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta love it when it's all fun and games until external factors get involved. But for right now, we are going to go into Rice 3 here.
And again, this is a bit late, but we try to sneak in a little Christmas song, and it's quite fitting as well because I think the mixed rice, you do deal with a lot of stuff, mainly broken jump stream and jacks. A little something for everyone here. I think Plausch and Lamp should have a pretty easy time with something like this. I think that their inherent accuracy is a bit lower than most other players. However, remains to be seen whether or not Sylvie and either Mink or Atus can match them when it comes to Rice.
Yeah, it remains to be seen. The OD9 might also be a bit of a factor here, at least in terms of ratio difference.
So we're gonna have to see who Liem Hai Hyundai Tao sends in to play for their team, since we're not sure if Mink or not will be able to stick around for the rest of the match. That is a really, really big factor to keep in mind.
Yeah, for sure. So right now, just waiting on the second player for Liem Hai Hyundai Tao to come in here. More than likely is going to be Atus. I think Mink is pretty much as good as gone. The ultimate deciding factor, life getting in the way. Can't really blame him.
Yeah,
It's just unfortunate.
happen.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, if it does prove to be a little long, we might have to have that unfortunate situation of calling this match early as a win by default.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the timer or anything has gone out yet. Whatever Sylvie said in the chat is not good for the looks of Liem Hai Hyundai Tao. Pretty interesting to see how things are going to turn out. The future of this match is held
Yeah.
within the hands of, I guess, Mink and their
Okay,
mom.
Yeah, yeah. But it looks like Atus is gonna begrudgingly come in here. I think they're the designated LN player for Liem Hai Hyundai Tao, not really as versed on the rice. So this might be very interesting. But I mean, to be fair, oh man, it's hard when you have such a rigid team structure where you have like your anchor, which was Mink, and then you have your two substitutes, Sylvie and Atus, trading in and out for the varying skill sets. What happens when the two that tag in have to play stuff that they're not used to?
Yeah, it's essentially Atus is like a fish out of the water, totally out of their element right now. It's not looking good, especially with the demeanor that they've shown in the chat. It seems like they're very scared to play Rice. They would much rather munch on some noodles.
Yeah, I don't blame them. As a bona fide LN hybrid player being asked to play any of the rice charts when we're testing any of the pools is terrifying, to say the least. So, can definitely relate there.
Yeah, I definitely understand sticking true to either Rice or Ellen, and then when you're having to play the other skill set in a tournament, it's pretty daunting. But I think that's the reason why being a well-rounded team, or just in general being a well-rounded player on your team, is such an important factor to getting far in this tournament.
Yeah, for sure. So, barring any more delays, looks like we got everything sorted out here. We're going to load into this third map of this best of 9. And some early drops from Liam Hai Hyundai Tao. I think that's a disconnection. And sure enough, Sylvie has left the building. This is going to be an abort coming out here. It was inside the first 30 seconds of the match. So, gonna have a bit of a mulligan here as we see things come to an abrupt end.
Yeah, I mean, I know they said they didn't like Rice, but to run with your tail between your legs at the first sight of a couple of Rice notes is not good.
Me, when I see a noodle in my rice chart, nah, fam, abort.
Sprint turn around and sprint the other way as fast as possible.
Yeah, no, it looks like there was a bit of a technical issue from Sylvie. Once again, inside the first 30 seconds of the map, we do have that clause in the rules for a reason. Things do happen, we do understand. So you do get that mulligan. Just don't make a habit of it. So,
Yeah, I think that everyone gets one, but Julie's got to push it in when it comes to the disconnects. So hopefully it doesn't happen again for Sylvie. It seemed to only be a keyboard issue, maybe like a loose, I don't know, wire or something like that. But gonna go ahead and get started right back up, run it back on to Rice 3.
all eyes on Sylvie, see if there's any more issues. Doesn't look like it. Able to get a strong start, holding on to that 100% for the first couple of notes here. Turns off auto to avoid any suspicions, falls back down to the land of the humans, but still holding on to some pretty impressive accuracy very early on here as the Untrillables take a bit of an accuracy lead. Atus, for not wanting to play the rice chart, not doing that bad themselves, holding on to a higher accuracy than Lamp and able to take over the accuracy advantage lead and the score lead overall going into the second quarter of the map here. Now we're going to a bit of a tug of war.
Yeah, a couple of jack sections to contend with. Atus, Plouch, and Lamp kind of around the same area of accuracy. I think Sylvie leading by a decent margin. So Sylvie and Plouch in that cross map battle, whereas Atus and Lamp also within their own. However, Atus taking a decent amount of 200s in those jacks. That's going to push things a bit more blue.
Yeah, gonna extend just a little bit further as the bursts start to come out. But very importantly, everybody holding on to their full combos going into the back half of the map. There are some tricky sections to work through in this back half that can really put off some players, but everybody holding on relatively well, taking some damage here and there, down into that low 99% range all across the board. But as it stands, everybody's still holding on to their FCs going into the last third of the map.
Yeah, so things aren't looking too great for Liam Hai Hyundai Tao in this last section. However, a couple of breaks could swing things over. There's not too much to contend with, just the jacks. It's kind of interesting seeing how many 200s have been dropped in those parts. However, it is what it is, and as this map closes out and things slow down just a bit, we are going to see the Untrillables with their very convincing lead. It seems like they are poised to make it 3-0.
Yeah, last couple of notes coming out here. Put a nice little bow on it. Happy holidays, everybody. The Untrillables make it 3-0.
Yeah, the Untrillables got gifted a third point off of their pick. Liam Hai Hyundai Tao gonna go ahead and try to pick a suitable map that they can finally, get some ground on and start the cogs in the machine. possibly something like right or LN3 or even Hybrid 3, I think would be both very good choices for them.
Yeah, for sure. And now the discussion for red team is, what do you want to do more, LN or Rice? And neither player wants to do the other player's skill set. So, I mean, hybrids are there for a reason. It's a nice blend, a nice little compromise.
That is true. I think that honestly, I think Hi Hi is a bit similar in structure to Miraru Mirror. Obviously, LN1 is going to have more LN aspects than the hybrid pick, but I don't think it's a bad choice at all. And especially when you know that your opponents are scared of maps like that to the point where they ban it, it could be something in the back of their minds.
Yeah, and as more deliberations come out here, God, it's such a difficult spot to be in. I can definitely empathize a little bit with the players for Liam Hai Hyundai Tao. Just having things out of your control. Throw your team composition into disarray, but you gotta work through it and gotta throw out a pick. And it is gonna be Hybrid 3 coming out here.
Yeah, and I've said this before, I'll say it again. Hi Hi having such a crazy amount of representation within this weekend. I think that it hasn't really been the bride to the point where it's been protected a lot, but it has definitely been the bridesmaid in which it was picked a lot or banned by teams that don't like it.
Definitely a very polarizing pick, one way or the other. You don't maybe think it's too hard, or maybe you just don't like the song. That or you love it. It's definitely a bit of a black and white song.
Yeah, and we're gonna have to see here how well Atus and Sylvie can do in this hybrid pick. I think that, you know, when things slow down, both of those players are able to act pretty well, as we saw at the start of the last map. Sylvie was getting a V2 SS for a decent, like, couple, like 40 notes or something like that, as you said. Had to act like a human and, you know,
Yeah.
pass the captcha, but, you know, gonna have to see how they hold up on a map like this.
Yeah, I think the good thing is that with the hybrids, there's just enough of a happy medium where the LN sections aren't too hard for Sylvie and the Rice sections might not be too hard for Atus to deal with. So it'd be interesting to see if they can kind of mesh the skill sets just enough to see him over the line. That being said, there's only 3 hybrids, so definitely gonna need to play some stuff they're not comfortable with one way or the other. Needs to take some breakpoints back as well. So remains to be seen. Looks like this are gonna be the team comps. Gonna get into this 4th map of this best of 9. The Untrillables trying to make it match point. And Liam Hai Hyundai Tao gonna try avoiding the sweep here. See if they can notch a point on the board.
We haven't seen a great amount of FCs throughout this match so far, so I think an important thing to have in mind is that with the map being over 3 minutes long, one miss in the middle is not going to be the end of a team.
Now we start to dive on into it. Everything in this introduction is pretty simply structured. A lot of 1-2, very little in terms of real density one way or the other in terms of LN or Rice. So I think the team accuracy is going to start to shine through for Liam Hai Hyundai Tao. And we can see it here, 99.8, 99.7 for Atus and Sylvie versus the 99.4s from Plausch and Lamp. So it remains to be seen. We haven't really gotten into the real bursty stream sections of the chart. in the choruses, and now we start to see him come through.
And I think that's where the untrillables can really try to catch up and make up for the ground that they lose in the LN sections. As we see here, Sylvie already falling down to sub 99.7. However, Plush and Lamp haven't done much in terms of their accuracy, still staying at around that 99.3 and 4 area. Liem Hai Hyundai Tao has quite the lead already, and we're halfway through the map.
Yeah, I think that is really just banking off the comfort or the discomfort that Plush and Lamp have on maps with LN in them. They really do seem to chop off some of their releases when the quote-unquote denser sections of LN start to come out. They really do make up some ground on the choruses, as we saw in that last one. Remains to be seen if they can capitalize on any potential mistakes from Liem Hai Hyundai Tao, but right now this accuracy discrepancy is really handing them a sizable lead for the moment, that they might be able to tank their way through any mistakes they find going into the last third of the map.
Yeah, Atus and Sylvie pretty much have been at the same accuracy for the entirety of the map. Both of those players are pretty much tied with each other at just under 99.7. We've seen Lamp grow a little bit in accuracy, but again, it's not going to be enough. That accuracy differential between them and a player on Liem Hai Hyundai Tao is about 0.2, 0.3, and on a map as long as this, that lead's gonna build up for those 3 minutes.
Yeah, so what do you do when you have two players with very different skill sets? Pick the hybrids. It looks to be the route forward for Liem Hai Hyundai Tao. See if they can maybe take that information and run with it. And I'm pretty sure for the untrillables, gonna jump right back up into those rice charts too. That's a bit of an interesting draw from Sylvie. Hopefully that wasn't a keyboard disconnection, but if it was, thankful it wasn't at the start of the map. That would have been very awkward there.
Yeah, almost a quad FC um, in this map. Unlucky break by Sylvie in the last 8 notes of the map. Everyone getting over a 980. However, Sylvie and Atus going to find themselves with 986s. So just edging out each player on the untrillables by a sizable margin for pretty much an 11k victory.
Yeah, very well done. Able to get themselves on the board here. Untrillables up to pick next. Like I said, you'd imagine that they're going to want to jump into Rice 3 or Rice 4 through 6. Any one of those could probably turn the screw a little bit on the overall comfort levels
And
of
I
this
think
red
that
team.
Rice 6 is a very good pick. I am a bit interested in seeing how Rice 4 and Rice 5 would go, because I don't think it's physical enough to cause Atus and Sylvie too much discomfort. I think they're at least physically easy enough to where they can possibly act, and if they can FC, I think that they might be able to beat out the untrillables. So maybe a bit of a landmine. However, the untrillables are going to go ahead and pick Rice 5.
Yeah, so it's a bit interesting. This is one of those maps where you either lock in very early and you just pull off the ratio of your life and like V1SS it, or you just hit early everywhere.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is probably mental stamina, because I feel like in the last 2 jump stream sections, you get kind of like hazy, like the eyes get a little bit glassy, something like that, where it's like, you've been doing it for so long, almost 3 minutes at that point, that you you kind of you tend to relax the fingers a bit and drop an act.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those maps that can catch you sleeping if you're not too careful. Above all else, I'm really glad people like this song. This is one of those songs that popped up on my Spotify Discover Weekly, and I just cannot stop listening to this song.
It's a very, very good song to just vibe out to. I think that generally a lot of people have shown, whether that be in feedback or the chat, that they really like this song. They like this one. They like Hybrid 3. You know, people have been quite happy, at least with the song choices in the pools, and that makes me very happy to hear.
Yeah, for sure. I think we kind of break the dichotomy of very rhythm gamey music, quote unquote. But that's enough of us patting ourselves on the back here. We can get back into the action. And right now, Liam Hai Honai Tao having a bit of an accuracy advantage off the back of Sylvie with that 99.78. It is very early on. It remains to be seen if they can maintain the consistency. But so far, so good, especially if Atus can hold on for dear life. They did say they didn't have the stamina to play stuff this long, but it isn't very physically intensive, which could give them a bit of breathing room to work with, especially if they can keep this accuracy advantage over Plausch. Do eventually lose it. A couple of early hits as we get into this broken jumps.
Yeah, I think it's a bit more even now. Atus has been showing a couple of cracks as this map has been going on and on, dropping down to about a 99.3 already. Sylvie kind of top score in this lobby by a decent margin, but again, it remains to be seen whether or not they can hold on, and especially with Lamp being pretty consistent throughout in terms of accuracy, it's gonna end up being pretty close, maybe a photo finish if all players end up with an FC on this map.
Yeah, for sure. But we start to see a couple of cracks in the armor for Liam Haifon Vital. Sylvie finding a number of 200s as we make our way into the back half of the map. Lamp winning that battle out for the moment, and Atus doing their best to hang on as well. At 9.1, that accuracy has been steadily falling as we get deeper and deeper into the map. It's going to be crucial for them to hang on, see if Sylvie can do a bit of a recovery run as well, kind of a get in the backpack kind of moment, but the average accuracy from the untrillables able to keep Liam Hai Hyundai Tao at bay for the moment. Last third of the map still to go, and this is really where you start to feel it in your fingers, maybe start to feel it in the eyes a little bit. Be sure to blink. You do get a couple of breaks here.
Yeah, I think that's the most important thing. Atu's finally under that 99 mark, still holding an FC, but that's not going to be enough at all. Just a bit too many 200s to deal with, and hitting a slew of early 300s as well while we're at it. Sylvie actually falling from their perch at the top of the lobby under Lamb finally by a sizable margin.
Yeah, it just feels like, oh, Plow's finding a break going into the last quarter of the map. Is there enough time for Liam Hai Hyundai Tao to capitalize here? It's starting to shrink a little bit, this lead for the blue side, but I think, oh, the trade from Sylvie going to put a damper on those plans. The ball rolls back down the hill, and they need to reconsider their options here. Backs against the wall as this map starts to come to an end. Two FCs left on the board, Lamp and Atus, but in the battle, at the end of the day, it is going to be the untrillables winning it out overall and making it 4-1 now.
Yeah, huge point for the Untrillables to pick up. And, that FC off of Lamp really sealed the deal there. 99.6 with a respectable 987. Atus tried their best, 98.89 FC. That's going to sit at around a 964, but is going to be the bomb score of the lobby, unfortunately. So Liam Hai, Hyundai Tao, as you said, backs against the wall. Um, they're going to need to think of something or some kind of plan because there's not a lot of maps left where I think they would be comfortable on. There's Rice 3, or sorry, LN3, but honestly, I don't think that they would fare too well on Hybrid 1 or 2.
Yeah, but now with Mink back, you start to bring some options back on the table. And considering how everybody struggled on Yuki no Hana and how the untrillables weren't able to really maintain uh, competitive ratio compared to red team on high, you start to wonder maybe like the fascinating cat's eye gets brought back onto the table where it's Atus and Mink going at it.
Yeah, when Liam Hai Hyundai Tao needed him most, Mink comes back from the brinks of their dirty room to pick LN3 and try to notch in that second point and get something going, try to start a comeback, maybe bring it to tiebreaker.
Yeah. Speaking of speed runs, AGDQ starts tomorrow. For those of you interested in seeing things done quickly, it looks like Mink is no stranger to that. Probably the fastest cleaning session of their life.
Yeah, pretty clean from Mink. Gonna see if we can get a clean score from them as well. Atus is gonna seem to stay in as they have had some pretty good runs on some of the maps, so makes sense for them to stay in. Plush Lamb, obviously, no third teammate available to them. They are gonna have to try to overtake an LN team on the LN map.
Yeah, it's funny hearing the opinions from LN players, a lot of them calling this a bit more of a hybrid. We didn't really want to throw players off the deep end with like a pure density map in round of 16. We wanted to kind of ease our way into it. So maybe a justified comment in terms of the map structure overall, but there's definitely enough 1/4 LN to give you a bit of a struggle if you're not used to faster LN releases.
Yeah, and I think that, like you said with the 1/4, I think there's a lot of 1/4 staggered starts as well that people have been having trouble with and dropping a lot of 200s on, and especially the releases as well. Those double releases can kind of hurt your act, especially if you're getting a lot of 300s on stuff like that and don't have the coordination for those patterns yet. So I think that a lot of the LN sections, that is going to be like the main difficulty, and that the Rice I would write off as negligible, but maybe other players see it differently.
Yeah. It's one of those where maybe the barrier to entry might have been a little low. But it's definitely one of those where might be easy to FC, maybe hard to act in that regard. So definitely earns its place here. And it looks like you can see the sixth map of this best of 9, Liam Hai Hyundai Tao hanging on for dear life here, but now back at full strength, you would imagine, as we make our way into this chart.
Yeah, quite a shaky start from Atus, unfortunately. In fact, everyone except for Lamp under that 99.6 mark.
Yeah, I think that's to be expected. The early release can definitely take you for a bit of a ride if you're not really expecting them. Can damage your overall accuracy more than you might be expecting. We start to see players start to settle down a little bit. Mink falling a little bit from their perch, 99%, hovering into that 98 just a little bit for a moment. But Atsu is really picking up the pace here for the side of Liam Hai Hyundai Tao. 99.5, head and shoulders above everybody else in the lobby as Mink makes a recovery run and he starts to pull away going into the second quarter of the map here.
Yeah, we have Plausch, Lamp, and Mink fighting it out in the lower 99s with Atus comfortably in that 99.5 accuracy. It's gonna really be down to them to see if they can hold on for as long as they can. And I think a big thing to keep in mind for this map is that it's such a long map that you can get tired, kind of like in that stamina pick. We might see a bit of an accuracy drop as things go on and on as we get into the back half of the map.
Yeah, and as we make our way into the back half of the map, I'm surprised we haven't seen any like major chops or major accuracy drops. Everybody paying these 1/4 LNs the respect that they deserve. But as it stands, for the untrillables, gradually dropping in overall accuracy, 99.2 and 99 flat. for them. Meanwhile, Liam, Haikondai, Tao, Mink, and Atus steadily climbing as this map progresses. Actually, Mink has progressed to the point where they can actually compete against Atus, dropping only a tenth of a percent, but overall still pushing each other to higher limits here as this lead starts to extend. It's about 15,000 points just based on accuracy alone. And we start to see the mental fatigue start to set in. A lot more 200s coming out from the side of the Untrillables.
Yeah, that lead for Liam High Hyundai Tao is going to be at around 20,000 as we get into the last section. A couple more jacks than previously as you get a bit more percussion in the backtrack. And Plausch and Lamp have been honestly having a lot of late releases. You said, you gotta respect the LNs. I think they're paying a bit too much respect. You gotta let go. you know?
That's a very good way of putting it. And as this map comes to an end, a pretty commanding victory for Liam High Hyundai Tao. This is the biggest margin of victory that they've had all match so far. And they make it 4-2 with the Untrillables up to pick next.
Yes, could be the start of something great for Team Red. However, the Untrillables are gonna go ahead and get that pick. I believe Rice 6 is still up, right? So that could be something that they immediately shoot for. And they do, yeah. Rice 6 gonna go ahead and be chosen by the Untrillables. This is gonna be the more techier map. So it's gonna be up to probably Mink and Sylvie to try to FC it with a decent accuracy and maybe hope that the Untrillables miss in the more physical back half with the rolls and the interspersed LNs and the triple jack as well.
Yeah, this is one of those maps that can ruin your day if you're not fully warmed up or just fully mentally prepared for some of the patterns it throws at you. I know I've definitely lost a fair number of good runs to some of the interesting bursts towards the back half. So it'll be up to Sylvie and Mink to try and put up a formidable defense against Plausch and Lamp. I believe the Untrillables definitely the more comfortable of the two teams on a map like this.
Yeah, in their last match against Fresh Chicken Nuggets, they did choose this one to close it out, so it might be a bit of a callback to that. Plausch getting a 976 FC, whereas Lamp got a 962 1 miss. Pretty much both of them were at around that same accuracy. However, again, Lamp getting that miss kind of dampened things just a little bit. So anything could happen here. Sylvie and Mink do have that outside shot of taking a break point against the Untrillables and possibly getting things to that tiebreaker.
Yeah, it only takes one mistake, and you gotta be in that position to capitalize on said mistakes. But without further ado, it looks like both teams are ready. An opportunity for the Untrillables to close this out. Opportunity for Liam High Hyundai Tao to get back that crucial break point that they need to get themselves back into this match. If they can get it back to their next pick, you'd imagine all bets are off in terms of who comes out on top in this match overall. That tiebreaker gonna be the real decider if it gets that far. But early shakiness from Mink, we saw this on Cat's Eye as well when they came back, but able to recover very well on that map. See if they can make a recovery run here as well.
Yeah, just taking a bit of damage every time those jumps come out with the percussion. Pretty unfortunate. However, Lamp is going to trade that back, so they're kind of tied in accuracy. Whereas Sylvie and Plausch are battling it out in that 99.7 and 6 department.
There were a couple of 100s, I think even a 50 coming out from Mink. Very fortunate not to find a combo break there as we make our way into the second third of the map. The pattern starts to get a lot more abrasive. very jack oriented. Got to make sure you can handle the triple jacks. Everybody manages to make it through. Everybody's over that 400 combo cap, getting full credit for their judgments now. Back half of the map still to go. Recovery road for the bottom half, and it's Sylvie versus Plausch. At the moment, it is a 0.1% between them as Mink tries to come up to contest against Lamp. Not too far behind as well. Overall, this is very much a surmountable lead. Don't count Liam Hai Hondai Tao out just yet. Last quarter of the map still to go here.
Yeah, and especially, again, that last quarter of the map is very rough. I can foresee a break by anyone at this point. A couple more trills to deal with as well, and you can get easily a slew of 200s like we see here. Pretty much everyone taking damage. However, Lamp has done well to bring themselves over that 99 and above, whereas Mink is still at exactly 99.
Yeah, last couple of notes left to go. There's not a lot of map left here. Don't foresee any breaks coming out this late, especially since it's the last couple of LNs and the untrillables managed to hang on and take it 5-2 to punch their ticket into the losers bracket quarterfinals.
Yeah, that's gonna do it for the untrillables. Congratulations to them for winning against Liam Hai Hondai Tao in a very, very close 5-2. They're gonna go ahead and face seed 17 retail store in the losers quarterfinals.
Yeah, congratulations to them. Commiserations to Liam Hai Hondai Tao. You'd imagine the what ifs are going to start to come out for them if Mink was able to play through all the maps. Maybe would have been able to contest just a little bit more, but it is what it is. That's why you do have your teammates, and that's, I mean, they did what they could. They were able to take some points off in situations where they probably felt they weren't able to. So kudos to them for doing that and adjusting as best as they could. But with that being said, this will be the end of the line for them. Hopefully they had fun while they were playing here. And it looks like we have some of the losers bracket matches starting to get decided here. Retail Store, the Untrillables, as you were saying, going to be their quarterfinals matchup. It goes from hard to harder. In order to beat the best, you got to beat the best. So,
yeah, that's gonna close it out for us. We do have a match coming up in about an hour. That is going to be Neko Gaming versus Quench Double Raspberry. That's gonna be a stream match, so we will see you guys in about an hour. And as always, thank you for watching.
take care.